Okay, so anybody who studied brass annealing will see pretty fast that there is a lot of different conflicting information on the subject, a lot of ways to do it, a lot of different information on how much to anneal and all that. And I've done a lot of research and I've tried different things, and I've come up with something that I think works pretty well, and it's very cheap, under $200. And this right here is my induction annealer, and it's this Hot Rod brand. You can get them on eBay, on Amazon, and I made my own coil. First of all, these do come with a nice hard plastic case. I like to get the one with the case, but basically everything in there except for the induction unit and the thumb screws you can pretty much toss out. They might be good for other applications, but not for brass. You need a coil. First of all, the white insulation on the ones that come on there will start to smoke pretty fast. It's worthless, basically. So what I did on this one is just got a piece of 10 gauge wire. You can go to Home Depot or something and get a just bare 10 gauge wire like this, or you can strip it yourself. Either way works. But what you're going to want to do is use a socket. And what I thought worked pretty well was an 8mm deep socket, 1/4 inch deep socket, and you just twist it around there and pull it tight and make your own coil. And something to be aware of is that you kind of want to get this part as flat as possible, because if you have like a big groove there, or where it's uneven, it's gonna anneal unevenly. So that's the only consideration. But anyway, so I tried some different holders for the brass. What I came up with is this. This is drilled for 308 cases. This is drilled at 1/2 inch. And the fit is not super tight. It's good enough, but it allows them to fall out. I tried several different things. Several different holders, like tried one like this out of a 2x2 and drilled it, nice deep holes that fit it tight. It's just too hard to empty out. And then even this one out of a 4x4, and once again, it's just not needed. So the best thing for me is just this. It holds, I think, what, 22? A mosquito trying to bite me. And you can just dump them out when you're done into a bin like this. They just fall right out. And I am going to demonstrate this and talk about how much to anneal the brass, because I think that's the most important part. One other thing before I get into that is that I did get one of these digital timers, set it up. Nobody does this. I don't know why, but you don't need a DC power, and you don't need 2 cords. You can just put it right into your cord like this, and it works great. But if you go to the Amazon reviews, Aloysius Jackson, I show the wire schematic for this. But anyway, it turns out that's not even needed. It's a total waste, because as this coil starts to heat up, your time requirement is going to change, and it's always heating and cooling throughout the cycle, so it's never going to be even. It's ridiculous. So brass annealing has to be very precise. You don't want to under or over anneal the brass, and so you can actually do it by eye better than a timer. So that's why I built that and didn't even use it. So okay, so I'm going to show 3 brass cases here, And this is top brass. I don't recommend this stuff. It's kind of a waste. It's just expensive. Hey, at least it's cleaned and decapped, but it's basically way too expensive for what you get. It's not ready to go. You have to size it. You have to basically almost treat it like range brass, except that it's clean and decapped. That's nice. Anyway, I wouldn't recommend it. So, okay, so I'm going to show 3 here. This is, I got to get this mosquito. Man, there it goes. He's dead. Okay, this is a piece right out of that bag that hasn't been annealed. This is a piece that's been properly annealed. And this is an over-annealed case. If the brass gets glowing red, it's over-annealed. It doesn't mean it won't work as long as you didn't get heat down into the mid case and down into the web. Even if this is, what it does is it renders the neck like what they call dead soft. So it's too soft. And you can still use it and it'll work harden, and you know it can come back as long as you didn't cook metals out of it. The brass, it melts at what, 1750, the copper or whatever, but the zinc, it melts just under 800. So you can really cook metals out of your brass, and that's why if it glows red, it's too hot. It'll lose its temper, and I want to demonstrate that. So what the easiest way, what most people recommend, is to use some vice grips, and you set them to where you're just compressing the neck a couple thousandths to where it just starts to deform. You can see it just kind of oval a little bit, and then you release it. And if it goes back to round, then the brass still has some spring back. And obviously this case isn't annealed, so it does. This case was the properly annealed one, and you want it just on the edge, just to where it still springs back, but any more and it would be soft, and that seems to be about the sweet spot. So that springs back barely, but it does. Now this is an over annealed case, so if I compress this, it's deformed. It's too soft. Doesn't mean it won't work, and it will work harden, and you know you can bring it back, especially when you size it and stuff, but you really don't want them that soft. As long as you didn't, like I said, cook the zinc or whatever else out of it, tin or whatever, you're okay. Not ideal though. So, put that in there, and put that in there. So I'm going to demonstrate this, a little method here. And so, basically, I'm going to go ahead and load this up right now. And so while I'm doing that, what I found is that the brass, when it gets to the sweet spot of annealing, what it does is it kind of flashes, and it turns like you'll see like a blue flash go across it. It doesn't get red, it doesn't glow, but it definitely changes appearance in a split second. It's quick. So right when that happens, take it out. It's done. Do not let it get red. I see so many people on these videos over annealing this stuff, and you see what happens. It doesn't spring back. So the way I do this is pretty specific. So before I turn this unit on, because it's kind of noisy, and I'm also going to turn the lights down, so hopefully it'll pick up on camera when it flashes. But what I do is actually hold the coil to where it's sort of over the shoulder and leaves a little bit of the neck sticking up, and then you can see it flash up, and that way it anneals the shoulder too. And then as the heat flashes up, it gets the neck, and it turns out perfect. So some of the cases that I did that turned out good, you can sort of see the annealing, but it's not real apparent like it will be. You know, some people, they want to see that anneal mark. Sometimes you'll see it, sometimes you won't. But that's not a real good indicator, because usually when you see that anneal mark, it's over annealed. So anyway, I'm going to demonstrate this. this technique here, and hopefully this camera will pick up the flash. So I'm going to turn the lights down and plug this unit in. So as I do this, this coil will heat up. It'll get red, but it makes it a little harder to see the flash, but not too much harder. You can still see it. So you activate this by just pushing the button, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this line here, and hopefully you can see this on camera, but you'll at least get an idea of the time it takes. And also, let me show this before we start. You really want this to fit just over. I already turned the lights down, but you want it to just fit over the brass case. Not touching, but pretty close. Otherwise, it takes way too much time. Your time goes up from a couple seconds to like 10 seconds if it's too far away. So I'm gonna go and do this row. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in on one. Hopefully this will pick up on camera. Who knows? So you can see. Okay, here goes. So anyway, that's the amount of time it takes with a tight-fitting coil, and I don't know if that picked up the flash, but it just turns bluish, and it's done. So anyway, the web and all that does not overheat. I can touch these right now; they're warm, but even that one I just did, I can touch it. I mean, I wouldn't want to hold it. It's hot, but it's not too hot. It's like maybe 110 degrees max, and that's not going to affect the brass. So anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about that. And see, I can basically hold this right now. So anyway, there you go. Hopefully that's helpful for somebody. And it's the best way I've found so far. And this thing was under 200 bucks.